It might not be all sunshine and rainbows for the Sun Devils in 2023. Here's some reasons for pessimism on this edition of the Locked On Sun Devils podcast.
You are Locked On Sun Devils, your daily podcast on the Arizona State Sun Devils, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome back to the Locked On Sun Devils podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. My name is Richie Bradshaw, and I will be your guide for everything Arizona State Sun Devils. Thanks for tuning in. A special shout out to my everydayers who are here every day, and thank you for making us your first listen of the day. Wherever you're getting your podcast, hit like and subscribe and turn on those notifications so you get an update whenever we post new content. Stay in touch with that free content by following me on Twitter at RichieBrads36 and the podcast at LO_Sun Devils. Download the GameTime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. All right, guys, here's the thing is it has the potential to be a very difficult season for Sun Devils football. It might not be as great a season as we're hoping that it's going to be. You know, we have to remember that this is the first year of the Kenny Dillingham era, and that's not going to guarantee success. I want you guys to remember this, if nothing else. Even the great Nick Saban, arguably the greatest college coach ever, one of the greatest coaches across all of sports entirely, started out with a losing season at Alabama. He didn't immediately waltz into that program and turn them into national title contenders. Now, he got right back to a winning record in his second year for sure, but point is, like, Rome wasn't built in a day. And we shouldn't be anticipating the Sun Devils to rebound from a 3-9 season and immediately become like contenders for the Pac-12. Could they? Sure, they could. Like, anything's possible any given Saturday. And there's a lot of reason to be excited about these Sun Devils. But in the same breath, this could be a rough season. And that's what we're here to talk about today. So even though the episode is titled Reasons for Pessimism, this is definitely going to be more reasons to be like cautious about the season. Because quite frankly, like, I look at these and I don't necessarily believe that this is going to be a really brutal season. I actually think this is going to be a fun to watch season, but it very well might not be. Let's go ahead and just dive right into it. So if you guys are on YouTube, you can see on the right-hand side of my screen the little checklist we're going to go through. If you're not on YouTube, don't worry. I'll break it down for you. The first thing we got to talk about, you know, I mentioned yesterday that there's 8 home games, but bad news is this is a really, really brutal schedule this year. And with a brutal schedule means potentially a lot of losses. Here's who you have to play. You will play in no particular order: USC, Utah, Oregon, what's her name? Washington. That's just in the Pac 12. You also have Oklahoma State and Fresno State. That is potentially 6 losses right there, which already drops you at 6-6 at best. You also have some wild cards in there, like Wazoo, Arizona. Who knows what's going to happen with Cal? Who knows what's going to happen with Colorado? These are going to be really difficult games, guys. Like, this is not an easy schedule by any means. Who knows what's going to happen with UCLA, if Dante Moore is going to be the starter for them, and if he's going to be excellent, or if it's going to be kind of a trial year for him. Like, this is a schedule that is so much more difficult than what we had last year. And last year they went 3-9. You look at this schedule, and I have been, for the longest time, stuck on 4 wins for the program: Southern Utah, Arizona, Cal. Oh, what was my last one? I can't remember what my last one was. It just escaped me. Point is, this is a really tough schedule, guys. And yes, a lot of those games are home, but some of those games are you're going to have to travel to. Like, you're heading to Seattle to play Washington, where it's been a really back and forth series between these two teams, but Washington is a team with national title aspirations this year. Arizona State in a best case scenario, is just trying to get to a bowl game. Washington's looking to run the table and go 13-0 in the regular season before they hopefully get to the postseason. Like you are you are going to have a very difficult game when you head up there. You are also going to Pasadena to play UCLA. That's not a given game. This has also been a pretty back and forth series, and they are they're an interesting team. Like I just don't know what to do with them because like it's a good team. It's not a great team. Who knows what you're going to get out of your quarterback? Like he could be a Heisman contender as a freshman, or he could be a freshman. Like we have yet to see what he's going to end up being. But by the time you guys end up playing him, he could very well be a really good quarterback. Don't really know what to do with that game. You will be traveling to Salt Lake City, I believe. I don't have the schedule right in front of me. You might have them at home. I can't remember. No, you are going to Salt Lake City. Yeah. You're going to Salt Lake City to play Utah because I was at that game last year and that's when Brett Keithy got injured. So you'll be going to Salt Lake City. You'll be going to Seattle to play two of the best teams in the conference. That's brutal. That should be two losses right there. The rest of the schedule is just really tough too. I mean, you seriously could have six losses just from the teams I named. You could lose to Arizona. You could lose to Colorado, depending on what goes on with Deion Sanders. You could lose to UCLA, and that right there is nine losses again. This is this is going to be a massive, massive testament of this team in year one. And quite frankly, we should expect them to be a lot closer to 3 wins than we should expect them to be at the what's it called at the 9 win mark or even at the 6 win mark. This is definitely going to be a very difficult season for the team, at least on paper. And I mean, who knows? Like we could get into Pac-12 play and USC is like 2-1, or you could get and see that Utah has really started to regress this year. You know, with Cameron Rising recovering from an ACL tear and them just potentially regressing, and who knows at Oregon, maybe Bo Nix takes a step back without Kenny Dillingham. Maybe Washington is just upset again. Like, this isn't guaranteed to be the most difficult schedule in the world. It's just right now, as we look at it, I don't know if there's any tougher schedules in the Pac 12 for any other team. And that's going to be a massive obstacle for the Sun Devils to try and overcome this year. It's not impossible, but I'll tell you guys right now that it's very unlikely. Look, trying to get tickets at the last second can be super duper stressful. I've been there myself, and I can tell you guys that there's times where I just want to pull my hair out. Game Time is the fast and easy way to buy your tickets for all your sports, music, comedy, and theater shows near you. With killer deals on last minute tickets and the best prices guaranteed, you can stop stressing over tickets and start getting hyped about the fun that you're going to have. If you're looking for some of the stuff that I enjoy about the Game Time app experience, I can tell you that the flash deals and the last minute tickets really get my attention. But you can also check out images of your seat from where you're going to get. It's easy to find and buy tickets for every kind of event in your area. And with the lowest price guaranteed, event cancellation protection, and job loss protection, plus more, this is definitely the app that you're going to want to use. Forget planning months in advance because Game Time has deals on tickets right up until the day of the event. You also get newsflash deals for your tickets for football, basketball, baseball, concerts, comedy, theater, and more. The Game Time guarantee means you'll always get the best price. If the tickets you, excuse me, if the tickets in the same section and in the same row are less, Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms will apply, but again, create your account and redeem code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed. Back into our conversation now, but remember, wherever you're getting your podcast, to hit like and subscribe and turn on notifications for that free content available 5 days a week. Let's go ahead, get to our next bullet point, and that, of course, would be a lot of new pieces. Like, it's not just the players, it is the coaching staff is brand new. It is a new regime. It's a new era of Sun Devils football. Kenny Dillingham has never been a head coach before. This is going to be a challenge for him to see how he can adapt in year one. It's going to be a very interesting experiment to see how this ends up shaking out for him. Like, is he going to find immediate success or is he going to have a really bad year? Like, look at Jed Fish down at Arizona. He had a 1-11 season. I can't remember if that was his first or second year, but it's not guaranteed. Like, you're probably going to fail if we're being completely honest. The odds of you failing are a lot higher than the odds of you coming out and being a successful program. It just is what it is when you're rebuilding a team that only won 3 games last year. Then you look at the rest of the coaching staff. Like, you've got guys with proven experience for sure. Like Bo Baldwin and Charlie Raggle were previous head coaches. Brian Ward was a previous defensive coordinator. Like, there is definitely some proven guys on this roster, but then you have some younger guys as well, like Brian Carrington, Rashad Samples. Jason Mons is making the move up from high school to college. Like, this is going to be a process for them as well. You're not going to guarantee some immediate success with some younger guys. It's just part of what's going on here. And then you look at the players. Over 40 new guys between transfer portal and recruiting class. You're going to be rolling out with a freshman quarterback in Jaden Rashada. You're going to be rolling out with a new running back, a couple new receivers, a almost brand new offensive line on offense. Then you're looking at the defensive side of the football. Not much is familiar from last year. Ro Torrance, Chris Edmonds, BJ Green, Anthony Cooper. Those are really the guys that you saw the most time with last year that are going to be in roles this year. Michael Matus coming back from injury. The entire linebacking core, not a lot of experience. Your most experienced guy, Trey Brown, is a transfer who wasn't even a full-time starter with Washington State. In the secondary, you have a lot of new safeties. You got a lot of new corners. Like, this is going to be a challenge. You're not, and you shouldn't be looking at this team to come out and just immediately click. It's going to have a learning curve. Then you also got to remember that some of these guys are graduates, like Trey Brown, Deshaun Mallory on the defensive line. You're not necessarily looking at these guys and anticipating they're going to be immediate big time players for the team. Like, you're hoping they are. You're hoping that the experience that they're bringing is going to be able to lift up some of the guys who don't have as much experience, like a Clayton Smith, who, while he is a former 5-star recruit, has yet to really see the football field. And he looks great in camp, but how's that going to translate onto the field itself, on the gridiron and Saturday Night Lights and in front of a bunch, like thousands of fans? Like, it's a lot. And it's a lot for a freshman quarterback. Like, we can be excited all day about Jaden Rashada, but we also have to understand that this is a freshman quarterback, and this is a guy who's going to need a little bit of time to get his feet underneath him and figure out, who he is and how he can be a great quarterback from year one, how he can adjust to a new offense, how he can adjust to the college level, the collegiate level, and a new coaching staff, a new cast of players that he's going to be throwing the ball to and handing the ball off to and having to protect him. It's a lot of new moving pieces. This shouldn't be a guaranteed immediate success for the program. This is probably the part that I'm worried about the most when we look at my three bullet points for why this could allow you some concerns and pessimism for the team. It's probably the amount of new pieces that are on the team. Could it be exciting? Could it work? Absolutely. Is there a bigger chance that it's not going to work? Absolutely. Hopefully you find some kind of middle ground, but it's not going to be easy. Wherever you get those podcasts, hit like, subscribe, turn on notifications. We give you free content available 5 days a week. And of course, you can find us anywhere. You can find us on YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, Amazon, wherever you're getting those podcasts. Make sure you hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. The final part here for potential pessimism. We've really kind of talked about it for the majority of this, so I don't want to get too much in the detail to the point where it's just repetitive and all that stuff. This is year one of a rebuild. This is year one of a rebuild, you guys. We cannot, should not expect this to immediately be a great football team. Quite frankly, the 4 wins I'm projecting for this team, was projecting, but we'll cross that bridge next week. So make sure you guys tune in. The 4 wins that I was projecting, that's 1 more win than you had last year. You should be happy with that. You should be happy that the team is taking any sort of direction in a positive manner moving forward from where they were last year. You need to understand Rome wasn't built in a day. I said that earlier in this podcast. I will say it again here. You should not expect them to immediately be contenders. We shouldn't even expect them to immediately be a bowl team. 6-6 would be outstanding. That would be a massive step forward for this program. And you would sit there and you'd be like, holy cow, I can't believe how much success we had this year. But honestly, 4 wins would still be a good season. It truly would be. And I know a lot of you are going to come at me and a lot of you are going to say, we're not going to have a losing season. And, a losing season is not good and this, that, and the other. It's a process. 4 wins is a good thing. The biggest thing that you'll be looking for is nothing to do with the wins and losses. It's about the competitiveness of this team. It's about seeing these guys go out every single Saturday or Thursday or Friday and putting all their effort onto the football field. You want to see these guys compete for 60 minutes or sometimes longer. You don't want to see these guys roll over on their backs and give up when the going gets tough. Because quite frankly, with that tough schedule that we have and all the new moving pieces here, this is more than likely going to be a team that is down more often than they're up. So when that happens, you're looking for how these kids respond. You're looking for these kids to face adversity and play the full game and not give up when you go down 3 scores, when you go down 2 scores. You don't want these guys to sell it, like to pack it in, move on. You need to have that mentality of one game seasons. You go 1-0 or you go 0-1 every single week. You do that 12 times. That's where you want to be. You want these guys to understand that you want to go 1-0 every single week. Even if you don't, because you probably won't. You want these guys to consistently be playing their hearts out. Put it all out there. But even when they do that, they're going to lose a lot of games, guys. Just call it as it is. You guys want to yell at me? You can yell at me. I wouldn't call myself a pessimist when it comes to this team because I've been hyping them up all season long. But if you're looking for reasons to be pessimistic, understand that it's a rebuild. Rome wasn't built in a day. Have some patience. Give these guys some opportunities to have some missteps and move forward. What do you guys think? Am I a little too harsh? Am I hitting the nail on the head? Let me know in the comments. Excuse me. Let me know in the comments, or you can hit me up on Twitter/X. You can find me at Richie Bradshaw36 in the podcast as well at LO_Sun Devils. But wherever you're getting those podcasts, hit like and subscribe and turn on notifications so you get an update whenever we post new content. It's content 5 days a week, free and available on all platforms. I thank you guys so much for tuning in. We've got a jam-packed week next week. I've got Spencer McLaughlin coming on at some point during the week from Locked On Pac-12 to preview the season. I will be previewing the season myself. I'll be doing my season projections. We'll have so much content for you guys. So again, make sure that you're staying in touch and hit that like and subscribe button. You won't want to miss the best content that I've got out there for you guys. If you're on YouTube, give me that subscription. I would love you guys so much. We're so close to 600 followers. When I last checked, we were at 592. We may have crossed 600, but really appreciate you guys tuning in. I cannot even begin to express to you guys how that means to me. But that's all I got for you guys today. I will see you all next week. Till then, you keep it locked right here on Locked On Sun Devils.